Arkansas 19, Tennessee 14, Dan.
God, I should have gone with my gut here. I talked about scratching off Arkansas, scratching off Tennessee, scratching off Arkansas. I'm going with the Vols. Continue.
This is my lock of the week, Tennessee minus 13 and a half.
You had it big, right? Wasn't it like 51-14 or something?
My projected final was 48-17. I was a little bit wrong.
Okay.
Of note, Tennessee was favored by 13 and a half. They only scored 14 in this game. This was 3-0 at halftime in favor of Arkansas. They clearly had a very good game plan to disrupt. The crowd was rocking. It was obviously helpful that they were at home here. And what I came away feeling was basically the opposite of what I said when we did the Thursday preview show. And on Thursday, I was waxing poetic about how Nico is cut differently, which I still believe he is.
Oh, man, the height of Nico is great. But this is not the night to wax about Nico's ceiling. Yeah.
No. But my point was not about his physical tools or how he can throw the ball 50 yards on a rope off the short leg like he did late in the game, which you and I were kind of in just oogling over.
Immediately before he ran out of bounds with 5 seconds left, not attempting a game-winning throw.
Immediately before that.
Yeah.
Nico, at least in previous situations like this, the few that we've seen, did not seem rattled. I thought he seemed rattled.
I thought so too.
I thought he seemed rattled. And I guess that's a sign that he is human after all. All the kickers in college football may have turned into aliens and they're now hitting 55-yarders, but to assume that Nico was this alien quarterback who is going to come in there his first year as a full-time starter in big SEC play with Tennessee riding high in a playoff kind of at their, within reach, and to assume that he would not feel any of the pressure this season was probably a bridge too far.
Well,
And we saw it here.
You think about the context of Nico's young career at Tennessee, right? 5-star comes in, is like poster boy for like the crazy money surrounding the NIL world, $8 million allegedly, right? Coming in and winning a bowl game and coming into a program that's putting up bonkers offensive numbers and sending Hendon Hooker to New York and like, I don't know, maybe the best of Joe Milton, but like this is such a quarterback-friendly offense, and he is an athlete in the way that Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker aren't necessarily. And, there's like the legend of Nico. He sits for a year. You can't wait to see what he does. The receivers that come into the program, and Chris Brazzell and Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton, right? Like all of this firepower, the emergence of Dylan Sampson. And we forget he's a young quarterback in the SEC. He's a young quarterback that's going to be thrust into difficult environments, whether or not the team is excellent. That, like, I mean, I'm raising my hand here, too. I'm guilty of saying, like, I think he's going to be, like, one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the sport. Like, I'm heaping praise upon him like he has arrived, but, like, process is continuing. And the story here, to me, is on the other side of the ball. That Arkansas, with their close calls this season, with their struggles at time this season, going even just last week against Texas A&M and the way that the offense was shut down and the offensive line was overwhelmed by Texas A&M, which, by the way, looks a little bit better considering what Texas A&M did today, that Arkansas is fighting impressively. Now, probably should have taken advantage and won that Oklahoma State game because that game has aged worse with Oklahoma State's season continuing the way it has. But who is it? Braylon Russell, the running back, just the huge runs near the end of that game. Like
big dude.
Taylan Green going down with what looked like an ugly injury, but popped onto his feet, and it was Micah Singleton coming in and making some plays with his feet and a couple screens here and there.
Singleton, yeah.
Malachi Singleton, excuse me.
Four-star, yeah.
Former 4-star. And I don't know, man. Arkansas just piecing together this win, getting Tennessee the hell off the field in that first half. You mentioned being shut out in that first half. I mean, it's tantalizing now for Arkansas. We're like, all right, what do we do the rest of the season? We just shut out Tennessee in the first half and took them down. What are we doing to back this up? But, man, what an impressive Saturday night in Fayetteville.
It really was. And on the point of Taylan Green,
yeah,
I mean, we talked about this a couple times over now. The raw ability of Taylan Green is there, and you can see it on display on most plays.
Keyword raw. Yeah.
Very raw. He is a raw talent. But the best of him is really exciting.
Yeah.
He made 2 throws late on consecutive plays, sort of fades down the sidelines, one after the other, that were just dimes.
Yes.
Absolute perfect throws. He is obviously very mobile. Hopefully he is not injured for any period of time. He was up on his feet. It looks like it's not going to be super serious, although it did have the hallmark of one of those bad knee injuries. I think he will be okay based on what we saw, but we'll wait to get the official report there. If they are able to sort of rein him in and get more performances like the one we saw tonight against a very good defense. This is the other thing about this. Say what you want about Arkansas's defense holding down the Tennessee offense, which in and of itself is an accomplishment. But this Arkansas offense going up against this Tennessee defense is its own matchup to talk about. That's its own podcast, because this is a really good Tennessee pass rush and defense as a whole. And for this guy who we had questions about his decision-making and some of the rawness that we have seen on display, for him to cut them up the way that he did, this is a really damn impressive performance to throw for 266, not turn the ball over through the air. He outplayed Nico. He outplayed Nico in this game, and he did so as basically a 2-touchdown dog.
Absolutely. And the space in the SEC of teams that you don't want any part of in the wrong week, not necessarily like the proven great teams, excellent teams, super talented teams. I don't even know who's on that list in this moment.
No.
I think Georgia is. I think Alabama likely still is. Texas most certainly is. We'll see after that. Tennessee's ceiling most certainly is. But the grouping of teams, and we'll see what Kentucky's able to do in terms of growth on offense, because the defense most certainly, I think, fits that bill. That feisty one side of the ball is pretty crazy, or you catch them in the wrong week, you're going to be sorry kind of list of teams between, LSU, Oklahoma's defense, whatever. It's going to be a dogfight these last few weeks.